From the Dogfish Head Brewery, Sam Calagione.
It's been a long, strange, but wonderful trip.
From the Boston Beer Company, Jim Cook. Welcome back to the Friday Beer Buzz, Jim.
Well, it's nice to be back.
Here normally from Aberdeenshire in Scotland. From Brewdog, we have James Watt and Martin Dickey. Welcome to the show, guys.
Biggest mission today is just to make other people as passionate about your state's craft beers as we are.
And now, the three-time winner of the Pennsylvania Association of Broadcasters Excellence in Broadcasting Award. The recipient of 2 Pennsylvania Associated Press Broadcasters Association Awards for Excellence, promoting and advancing the craft and microbrew culture in Northeast PA. This is another edition of
The Friday Beer Buzz! Yes, the Friday Beer Buzz, powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Sabatini's, the area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers. Growlers and crowlers and 37 rotating drafts at Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. We have Lindo from Sabatini's in with us. Lindo Sabatini, good morning.
Good morning.
A very, very special beer that he has. Also, Bill from mybeerbuzz.com. Hi, Bill.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. I want to go on record right now as to saying I will be the first and maybe only person that will not post a Bernie Sanders meme on any social media.
Really overdone this, but they're still out there. All right, quickly, just want to talk with Lindo about how things are going at Sabatini's. Obviously, it's a whole different world continuing, but back to bringing in customers.
We're hanging in there, just doing what we have to do. Nothing really out of the ordinary, just cooking pizza and pouring beer.
Getting a lot of people, but you can have people in, sit down again, obviously with the rules and regulations, but they can come on in.
That's one of the biggest problems is people don't understand the rules because they've changed so many times, so they don't know what they're allowed to do, not allowed to do. They walk in, everybody's got that look on their face like,
okay, now what?
Can I stand here? Can I walk here? Can I do this?
Oh, gosh. I can't wait till we're back to again talking about the specials that you're doing and, people getting together. And hopefully if we can get enough people vaccinated, we'll get to that sometime this year.
Well, we can only hope it's sooner than later.
Hang in there. All right, Bill from My Beer Buzz with all the beer news and such. Hi, Bill.
Hey, good morning.
Back again.
Cooking pizza and pouring beer. That sounds like a dream job to me. Other than maybe eating pizza and drinking beer, that's probably what would be my favorite job. So we we have a little beer news, and hearing Jim Cook in our intro reminded me of a story that I thought it was going to be really hot, and I thought it was going to take off, and so far it hasn't, but I think it will. So Boston Beer did something that may not mean a lot to most people, but their overall production topped 6 million barrels.
Wow.
And for anyone unfamiliar, barrels, 31 gallons, but 6 million barrels of production last year. Now, what that means, though, is that the Brewers Association has a limit of 6 million barrels in order for you to be called craft. So Boston Beer is technically no longer a craft brewery when they top that.
Oh, wow.
But here's the catch, and here's where I think the Brewers Association will swoop in and fix this, because from a statistical standpoint, they need the big boys like Yuengling and Boston Lager to be part of craft because it ups their market share and it legitimizes craft beer quite a bit more. I think what they're going to do, if you look at the 6 million barrels of production that Sam Adams does, a significant amount of that is Twisted Tea, Truly Hard Seltzer, Angry Orchard cider.
Right.
They make a line of kombucha called Tura. They even make a line of hard tea called Wild Leaf. If you take those out, their beer production is less than 6 million barrels. And I think that's what the Brewers Association will come along and say, is that only these liquids count against that quota.
Okay.
And they'll say beer only, and Sam Adams will be back.
Wow.
Yeah, so follow along with that one. I think that one's going to be interesting. We just mentioned very briefly Yuengling. Yuengling has made a big move that happened very quietly because of their non-craft distribution chain. They have now jumped into Texas. And for Yuengling Lager, I think Texas will be a huge market for them.
Yeah.
And watch, they may start bumping up against this. They're not as close as Sam Adams. They're significantly less in production, but they may start bumping up against it with the production amping up to accommodate Texas.
I hate to ask this question, Bill. I have a question. When it comes to Texas, do you think Yuengling is going to be able to crack into that market? I spent a week in Texas and was basically told, if you don't drink Shinerbach, you're a Texan.
Yeah, Shiner's big down there, and we've had our pal Jaime Jurado on the show with us before. He's in a number of different places, but he was at Shiner for a long, long time before he came up and created Susquehanna Brewing Company locally, or helped create it. And yeah, it's culture down there. It's ironic, though, that it is that beer. A Bock is a traditionally strong lager, so not my cup of tea, not something in Texas, but in the Texas climate, that makes much more sense.
Right.
So I'm thinking it will. I'm thinking it will notch in somewhere between Shiner and your mainstream lagers. But I think they will do well. It's my prediction that there's a market for them, and they will tap that market, and they'll do really well in Texas. But
awesome.
Mark my words. Maybe I'm a liar down the road. We'll see.
We'll see.
I don't think you will be. I think they're going to do well.
Another big one locally, full-on craft, full-on local. Trogs came out with a thing that is called Double Nugget Nectar. If you're not excited about Nugget Nectar, Double Nugget Nectar ought to make you have like a little accident in your diaper.
How'd you know?
Nugget Nectar is already an imperial amber ale. So Double Imperial, to me, I'm anxious to get my hands on it. I've been chasing some down to see if I can get a hold of it. It was released yesterday. They did an online pre-sale, and the online pre-sale sold out in 1 minute.
Whoa.
Oh, jeez. A minute.
So 1 minute, literally. And there's a lot of questions about how could it possibly sell out in 1 minute? How could technology allow it to sell out in 1 minute? But I don't think they had a big allocation. So I think if you're at the brewery or you're lucky enough to get some sent to you, you might get your hands on some Double Nugget Nectar.
Crowler sales have already sold out.
Yeah. I was going to say, don't expect to find it at Sab's or a local bottle shop.
No. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see it.
And one last little interesting tidbit of beer news. Stone has done something that I have been screaming for now for probably 10 plus years. Stone has actually published what they're calling beer code links. And what it is, it's all about where to find freshness dates on packaging. They have pictures of their kegs, pictures of their cans, pictures of their bottles, pictures of their 12-packs, their 4-packs, and where you can find date information on those packs. I think freshness in beer is incredibly important. I think it's a huge way that craft beer can differentiate itself from big beer. And it's a huge way to make sure that people are getting the beer the way that the brewer intended you to taste it. Mm-hmm. And not only has Stone put out, how you can find the dates on their packages, but they have put out that, their Enjoy By beers should last 37 days. Their IPAs traditionally should last about 120 days, which is contrary to many that say 6 months. It's more like 4 months. And something like their Buena Vesa, their Mexican-style lager, 150 days. And big beers like their Choco Vesa and their Woot Stout, they put down 9,999 days. But,
some of them can. Wow, so that's a problem, I guess, for people, and obviously for them, if someone drinks a beer that's not in date, and they may not like it because it's not exactly what it should taste like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I don't want someone to taste, I have a great example. I have a 4-pack of Two Hearted Ale in my refrigerator that was purchased for me that is way out of date, and it is almost undrinkable, and it is not what Two Hearted tastes like, and I don't want someone to taste Two Hearted and say, boy, I don't get the excitement. I don't get why this is the best beer. They must all be bad. I'm not going to taste it. So that's our beer news for today.
Hey, Bill, one question, because last week you had something with was it nectarine? Was it?
Sierra Nevada Wonderland.
Yeah. So I couldn't remember what it was, and I'm looking through the store thinking it's going to pop into my head. So I wrote down some of the beers you mentioned, and because of what you said, I literally wrote down Double Diver, but it was Double Nugget.
Double Nugget is the one.
Not
You're not
Double
gonna find it.
All right. Oh yeah, and it's already sold out. Okay, forget it.
Yeah, it's
then.
already
So
sold out.
much
But
for my plan.
hey, if you
What do we
ever
have?
hear something that we have on the show, like 99.9% of the time, you're going to find it at Sabatini's. The ones that we're testing out, which is one today, and it's and it is a fancy package. Let me tell you, I've seen fancy packages. This one's pretty darn cool. Tell us about it, Linda.
And Jason, on that same note, very quickly, you can get Nugget Nectar, regular Nugget Nectar at Sabatini's. That is a dream beer. It is one of my favorites. It's one of the few I chase down every year. Don't worry about the double version. Go get the single version. You will, if you like hoppy beers, you will love it. Today's beer comes to us from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, and Minneapolis, Minnesota. It comes from a brewery called Surly. They were founded in 2005 by Omar Ansari. They had one of the famous brewmasters who has now moved on. His name is Todd Hogg. And today we are sampling what I would call their most important and most famous beer, and a variant of that beer. The original beer is called Darkness, and today we are sampling Mole Darkness. And this is a big beer. This is a Russian Imperial Stout, and we should first cover that and discuss what that means. It has a historical tradition that a Russian Imperial Stout was a stronger version of a stout, stronger version of an English stout, that was first brewed for the Emperor Peter the Great of Russia by some English breweries. And yeah, it was brewed stronger. And I think this version is 12% ABV, where if you look at a traditional English stout or Irish stout like Guinness, they're more along the line of 4 or 5%. So this is a big beer. And I think the Mole is also 12%, Linda?
Yes, this is 12%.
It's very strong.
Yeah, the aroma that comes off. I remember it was sitting here in front of me, and I didn't sniff it yet, and all of a sudden it made it to my nose. That doesn't happen. They're like, whoa, that's
it's
good.
very strong. It's good.
You know, when we talk about a traditional Russian Imperial Stout, I always find notes of coffee and notes of licorice, like black licorice in them, and that's a traditional one. This one it's a mole sauce. It's a traditional Mexican mole sauce. So it has bittersweet chocolate. It has peppers in it. It has cinnamon in it.
Yep.
It is aged in bourbon barrels, and that's what the famous Darkness Russian Imperial Stout is all about, being aged in bourbon barrels. So I think when you taste it, you'll taste all those chocolatey things. You may taste the heat of the pepper a little bit.
Yes.
I got the pepper and
vanilla.
the pepper and the cinnamon. I can really taste on the tongue.
I'm thankful I didn't get the licorice. I'm a big licorice fan, but this feels...
No, I don't think this one has much of a licorice, does it?
I don't know.
notice that.
I didn't get that, but I got that that kind of, it's got like a thicker consistency.
It's
I really
coffee.
like that. But the slow burn, that's nice.
About this beer is they normally have, in other years prior to the pandemic, there's Darkness Day. So it's a big, huge celebration. It's a big beer festival they do to be able to release Darkness, the original version, which you might have got the licorice in the original version. I mean, it's also bourbon barrel aged, but it's not one of the variants. So this year, there's 3 variants in 16-ounce cans. There's the one we're doing today. There's Mole, there's a Vietnamese coffee, and there's a double vanilla version.
Ooh.
So those 3 have never been able. We would never have dreamed of being able to get our hands on them because they put them out in 16-ounce cans in this really sexy high-gloss box.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm going to get a picture up. We'll put this up also with the audio on our...
And the beer, and I've never had this beer before this minute. The beer really backs up the hype.
Oh, it's great. And hey, the hype includes, it's pricey, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about a 16-ounce can. How much is it
A
cost?
16-ounce can is $12.95. So
This isn't a beer. I mean, I'm still new at this. This is not a beer you just crack open with your friends and you sit back and chug.
You're not tailgating. Saying the price, yeah, okay, but this isn't one you're going to sit down and have a few of. You're going to be proud to be able to share this with your friends and say, "Wow, look at this flavor! Look at the you get the pepper." You know, that's what this kind of beer is about.
I really, really like this beer.
Yeah, this is the favorite one I've ever had with you guys.
Which you've only had like
Well,
what?
I've been here a couple times for this. This is really spectacular.
I'm a stout person.
Even when he wasn't on the air, he's still got some in the hallway sometimes.
Sometimes, yes.
Go ahead, Bill.
And we got very, very lucky. We should mention, you mentioned Darkness Day. We got very, very lucky because Darkness Day was canceled, and for 2 reasons. One was sort of the COVID reason, and that was accounting for the move in location, but it was Minnesota state laws that actually messed it up. And because Surly had already prepared it and already had prepared these variants, they said, we're going to push it into distribution instead. So we're getting it in PA and getting it at Zapp's because of the misfortune of the people of Minnesota.
Oh, well, their misfortune is our fortune, right? So you guys,
Yep.
Lindo Sabatini has this. If you can't remember Mole Darkness, just pop in and say, it's the one that was on the Beer Buzz, because you guys will have this, right?
Do a lot of beers come in like sexy boxes?
No, not really.
So order that one. That's how you can order it too. That looks really cool.
It's really awesome. It's like a deep blood red foil on a black box. It's cool. All right, we've been enjoying Surly Brewing Company Mole Darkness. It's a Russian Imperial Stout right here on the Friday Beer Buzz, powered by Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar in Exeter. Sabatini's, the area's greatest selection of rare craft and imported beers, growlers and crowlers, and 37 rotating drafts. At Sabatini's Pizza and Sabatini's Bottle Shop and Bar, Wyoming Avenue in Exeter. Thank you guys, Lindo and Bill. And
Thank you. This is great.
the Friday Beer Buzz, bringing good beers and good people together.